blessed Sunday to you, my dear brothers and sisters. Today is the sixth Sunday in Ordinary Time. Today we see the healing encounter between Jesus and the man who had leprosy. Leprosy in the time of Jesus was a very deadly disease, a contagious disease, a disease that if anyone contracted it, the person is considered as a dead person. It's just like a person who we may refer to as a living dead. It makes the life of the person miserable. It makes the life of the person hopeless. And I want to draw out basically three implications that are associated to this disease. In the religious implication, anyone who contracts this disease is not allowed to worship or to pray with other persons because the person is declared and considered as unclean. We also know that this has a connection to the facticity of the morality of the person, because sometimes the Jews, they believe that anyone who contracts this disease may have sinned against God. Now we look at the social implication. Anyone who contracts this leprosy is ostracized from the society. The person is banished from the society. The person is not allowed even to mingle or to interact with other persons. So the person is cut off entirely from any kind of socialization. So you cannot even go to the market. You cannot talk with anyone. So you have to stay, very far from the persons, from those who are considered to be clean. And anytime you're walking around, as we see in the first reading today, Leviticus chapter 13, and also in chapter 14, we see that clearly that there are Mosaic prescriptions for those who contract this disease. So it was really a very hopeless situation that anyone who suffered from this kind of disease will prefer to die. Now, that is a social implication, like being banished, ostracized from the society, even from your family. You're separated from your family. Then we look at the economic implication. The person is, not allowed to work. You cannot do any kind of business, which means that you are solely dependent on what people can offer you. So you turn yourself into becoming a beggar. So, and most of them, because people try to, reject them, abandon them, so most of them eat from the basurahan, they eat from the dustbin. So it's a very hopeless situation. So what Jesus did today is a very resounding miracle, because it was considered as an incurable disease. But there's something that I see in this man who came to Jesus. It was not Jesus who came to this man. It was this man who came to Jesus. So this man, even though he was rejected by the society, even though he was living a life that was because lepers are considered those who are moving towards their death. But I see in this man that he did not allow his ugly situation to overwhelm him. He did not allow his situation to push him into some sort of self-pity, because this man came to Jesus with a lot of confidence. You can see the interaction between this man and Jesus, and you will see clearly that this man was, he had that faith, he had that confidence, he was able to express himself. He did not allow his problems to define him. Rather, he decided to define himself. And he came to Jesus with that confidence, and not the confidence of arrogance, but he came to Jesus with, humility, because as he came before Jesus, he knelt down, he surrendered himself, he submitted himself, and he said to Jesus, "If you will, you can." For me, I see this man as a true theologian, because he discovered and he recognizes in Jesus that this man, Jesus, has the absolute dominion. In fact, the word he used is dunamis. Dunamis means power. So this man recognizes in Jesus the only person who has absolute power, absolute dominion to change his situation, to transform his situation from sickness to health. It is very right to say that this man broke the law. Yeah, he broke the law, because the Mosaic law says that a leper has to distance himself or herself from those who are considered clean, because if he comes close, he will contaminate those who are clean. So, but the beautiful thing about Jesus is the reaction of Jesus. When this man came before Jesus, even though he broke the law, Jesus did not send him away, but Jesus instead accepted him, welcomed him, and granted his wish. Now, that's the beautiful part of this story, is that the heart of Jesus was moved with pity. The heart of Jesus was moved with compassion, so that the person who came to Jesus became transformed. Now, it is also possible to think that, this man is going to contaminate Jesus, but it is in the other way around. it is not this man who became contagious. Rather, it was Jesus who became contagious, because Jesus, infected him with wholeness. Jesus infected him with holiness. Jesus infected him with healing, with deliverance. Jesus restored him to good health. So this is very, very beautiful when we really think about it, that no matter the sin that we may have committed, no matter the mistakes we may have made in the past, it cannot change the love of God for us. Rather, it is God who will transform us anytime we come in contact, anytime we encounter him. So for me, I see in this man the confidence that he used to come to Jesus is the same confidence that we all should use to go to Jesus, because we cannot contaminate Jesus. It is Jesus' contagious, extravagant grace that will actually transform us. So do not be afraid to come to Jesus, no matter what you have done in the past, because you are not defined by your mistakes. You are not defined by your yesterday. You are not defined by your shortcomings or weaknesses or even the crises and failures that you may have experienced, but you are defined as a child of God. And in the second reading today, we see St. Paul saying to us that we should imitate him because he is the imitator of Christ. How we can imitate Jesus? The Jesus who is compassionate, the Jesus who is considerate, the Jesus who is loving. Of course, today we are celebrating the feast of Valentine, for those, not really, but today is Valentine also. So we should remind ourselves that this Saint Valentine is remembered today because of his sacrificial love. And that's what we are called to do. That Jesus did not say, no, you will contaminate me. Jesus did not distance himself from this man, but Jesus gave himself. Just as Saint Valentine also gave his time, gave his expertise, gave his himself for reaching out to young lovers. So I believe that many of us are like this leper. Many of us have been abandoned. Many of us are neglected. Many of us are ostracized, maybe because of our mistake, maybe because of our shortcoming, maybe because of our frailty, but we are rejected basically because of our flaws or because of our frailty. So it takes only a Christian who wants to imitate the Jesus who welcomes everyone, the Jesus who accepts everyone, to reach out for this kind of persons. I tell you, what Jesus teaches us today basically is that we should be the one to influence other persons positively, but we should stop running away from those that we consider to be lower than ourselves, but we should embrace them. The best way to change a person is not to label the person. The best way to change a person is not to spread rumors and gossips about the mistakes and the shortcomings, and the weaknesses of the person. But the best way to change a person is to extend love, to be compassionate, to be considerate to that person. And I pray for each and every one of us today that no matter the rejection that we experience, or the abandonment that we experience, or because people snub us because of our shortcomings, I want to assure you that Jesus will never abandon us, and Jesus' hands, the hands of Jesus, are always open to welcome us. And as we are welcomed by the Lord, even though we are sinners, let us also welcome other persons. And I want to remind you that we are all blessed to bless. Happy Sunday and happy Valentine's. Let us show love.